It was a guy in front of us that when the movie ended, he stood up and turned to his friend and said, oh, I told you we should have seen Rambo.
Yes.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
And we're about to go see Ad Astra, and I am so excited. I've been waiting for this movie since the trailer came out in July. It sounds like it's right up my alley. I love really good science fiction. I love space movies, and I love Brad Pitt, so I'm really psyched.
I would say that I forgot to silence my phone. I am definitely not on the same level of excitement as Oliver, but I do think that this movie looks good, and I'm excited for it.
I'm also excited for the film. I don't think I'm as excited as Oliver is because I don't know if anybody could be at this point. But I am excited for it. I really do like Brad Pitt. I think it looks interesting. I'm hoping for some sort of twist at some point in time.
What I think is really cool is that this is not just a space movie, but this is a straight up science fiction movie from what I understand. I love science fiction. I think that it's very important to have science fiction at the movies.
It is the best brand new album.
I also just think space is real cool.
It's going to be a sci-fi movie, but it's going to have the visual sensibilities of First Man without the shaky cam, it looks like.
Hopefully
gritty
it's at
picture.
least 10 times more interesting than First Man was.
Right.
'Cause
That's
that
not
movie,
Well,
very
not the
hard.
subject
I know.
matter. You need good science fiction at the movies because that's where new ideas really come from. So whenever you put one out, that's really good, and we don't really get a lot of them anymore. I'm always excited because you don't know what you're going to get. We're going to go see the movie. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's really good. Ad Astra, more like sad after.
After.
Nobody told me we were doing a bit.
I'll start. I was really excited for Ad Astra. I had heard a bunch of cool shit about it. And I have a confession to make. I fell asleep right in the middle of that thing. I'm pretty sure I got it. But it seems like I'm not the only one who fell asleep because almost all the reviews that I've been heard are for a fucking totally different fucking movie.
Or they made up something because the movie was so uninteresting.
I'd also said at the beginning of this that it looked like Interstellar, but with a First Man visual sensibility. What this movie does have on First Man is that everything is very nicely in frame. It is a good-looking movie.
It's so funny that you mentioned both Interstellar and First Man because I would think if you had a spectrum in which Interstellar was like an A+ space movie,
Yep.
and which First Man was like an F space movie, that this movie would end up being somewhere right in the middle of those two.
But it's weird because it took all the boring shit from Interstellar and then like a bunch of boring shit from First Man. I mean, First Man is still worse.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
I really would like to know why everybody thinks that space travel is so boring. Because you can have really fun space movies. There are a ton of really fun space movies. I love outer space movies. But you were saying walking out that they want you to be sold, I guess, on just the visual alone. Because now this is two of them in a row like this. It's just not enough.
If it's a slow build, the build only gets to like here.
Right.
And then plateaus. And then nothing else happens.
The beginning of the movie is actually very interesting. They're doing a lot of really cool stuff about the distant future and about how space travel is going to be. And they did have some legitimately kind of cool science fiction elements in there. Somewhere in the middle, they stop adding new things and you've got an hour left and nothing else is happening.
Right.
So I'm disappointed.
Oh, man. It was definitely a very slow movie.
But see, I would like to point out also that I don't think that being slow by default makes it a bad movie.
No, and that's not what I was trying to say. I definitely don't feel like I am as negative about it as Oliver and Brittany were. Maybe I'm not so negative about it as Oliver because I was not as excited about it as Oliver. So there was less of a disappointment there.
It's because I'm real fucking disappointed right now. It's not even necessarily a very bad movie.
I wouldn't even say it's a bad movie. It's more of just a bad plot within a good movie shell.
On a technical level, it is a very good movie. It's gorgeous, like just to look at it. And like I was saying at the beginning, they had some very, very cool ideas. The part of the movie that should have been the most exciting when he's resolving the conflict is just so nothing to me.
it's one of those movies where it's tense because you want to know what's going to happen and you kind of don't know what to expect. So you think that things are going to start happening at any point in time, but nothing ever really happens.
Right.
The way that it unfolds, I'll give, is rather predictable, I guess. I guess it doesn't try to have like a twist moment, which in a way could be subversive.
There also really isn't a climax. There is, but it's small in comparison to like what you would expect from a large scale movie. If you could have condensed this into a 30 or 40 minute episode of The Twilight Zone, I would have been like satisfied.
The one thing that I keep going back to is at the beginning of this movie, there is a very cool space rover chase, which really was like tense. They do a lot of really cool technical things with it, and it's just a cool idea. And when they started doing things like that, I was like, oh, this is exactly what I want it to be, and what it's going to be the movie that I thought. And after that happens, there kind of isn't anything else. Oh, the climax is like nothing. It's like you had all the pieces are here. I'm like struggling to even like review this because I'm not even fully clear on what the point of this was.
We should have seen a different movie that I wanted to see.
Which is?
Doesn't matter.
No, go ahead, Jeremy.
It is some weeb shit.
I'm gonna give it a C. It's a solid middle of the road for me. Visually, it was really nice. I like Brad Pitt. I was expecting more, though. The word is disappointed. So I'll give it a C. I really don't plan on ever watching it again, and I really wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
I was also going to give it a C, which feels weird, because I was going to go ahead and say, like, I did kind of enjoy this movie, which I feel like you guys didn't that much.
I'm going to give this movie a D. And it's not really fair because I was really excited. And for about an hour, I was locked in and I was really having a good time with it, which makes it even more unexcusable that they dropped the ball like this at the end. I just don't understand from a story standpoint what happened. You could have done all the same things, and if you told it the same way you did at the beginning, it still would have been interesting, and it wasn't. All right, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Don't see you at ASTRA.